Welcome back to the Fire Emblem Awakening playthrough. Last time we found out that the world is kind of under threat from zombies. This time, we're gonna go to the next chapter, but first we're gonna learn quite a bit more about the game's characters and its world. Just an advance warning, there are a few lengthy cutscenes before we'll actually see some action in this chapter.
Wow.
But we've finally arrived in Yellowstone, the capital of Yillis. And these, despite being static scenes, these look very, very good in 3D, actually. Surprisingly so. Also, it appears the capital was spared the chaos is the name of this music. Like I said, every music track in the game is named after a line of dialogue. Localized earthquake and hellfire rain. That's definitely not good, though.
Thunderation!
Oh, this guy! I don't know why, but I love this guy. This is the Thunderation villager, as I like to call him. He'll be showing up quite a lot throughout the game, so get used to that voice clip.
Oh.
Now, I seem to remember that there's some kind of button that I can press to... Okay, that brings up a recap. I don't think there's some way that I can hide the dialogue window so we can actually fully see this, but anyway. We do get a good shot of her at the few moments where the dialogue window is gone. So, this is Lady Emmeryn. Her name was changed a bit in the localization, and I'm kind of glad because in the Japanese version her name was Emelina, which is very similar to the name of a certain character from Fire Emblem 12, so glad there's no confusion there.
Well...
That and she has a gigantic army bodyguarding her, so I think she's fine. So some backstory here. And I'm pretty sure this is not the same as in Marth's games. Yeah, this kind of sounds like the story of Marth's games and the backstory of his games. Well, Fire Emblem repeats this same backstory quite a lot, but I'm pretty sure the Fell Dragon is a different one this time.
Wow.
Well, that's interesting. Surprisingly, one thing that Mary Sue doesn't know. What? The guy with the Lord class is actually royalty? Shocking twist! Yeah, this was pretty easy to see coming. This still means that Ike is the only main character in the Fire Emblem series who is not royalty in any way. Yeah, this Shepherd's thing is a connotation entirely added to the English localization. I'll explain that a little bit later. And suddenly, politeness outburst. Again, that makes a bit more sense in Japanese, but oh well.
Oh.
Crom's definitely, yeah, not exactly the most, princely of princes.
Hey.
Welcome home.
I really like this music. Also, something interesting about Emmeryn. She is voiced by Erin Fitzgerald, from what I've heard, which is kind of interesting because she's played a lot of roles that are pretty much the exact polar opposite of Emmeryn. So, seeing her do this really shows her vocal range. Also, I like how she's like, oh, welcome back, I hope safe. Oh, also, welcome to Frederick. Yeah, we shouldn't have any more bandit problems until the first chapters of the next Fire Emblem game.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Yeah, Crom calls her M here.
Forgive me.
And we have a new character here, Fila. Although I'm not sure Pegasus Knights would be the best choice against axe-using bandits.
No,
What?
Oh no, here we go. And immediately,
Oh.
Mary Sue is trusted. And everyone owes her a debt. That's not good. She's going to make them repay that debt by forcing them all to wear gothic clothing, isn't she? Does the character modestly deny whenever they're given praise? Actual, point on the Mary Sue litmus test, so we can tick that off.
Forgive me.
And once again, Frederick is the realistic one. Now, from what I remember, the best way to check if someone's a spy is to set them on fire! Let's do that!
Crumb?
Yeah, letting a spy into the castle might be a slight problem.
Yes.
Well, she did do that, but then again, she doesn't have a memory, so she doesn't even know if, or she could have deliberately been risking her life for our people just to earn our trust.
Oh.
But unfortunately, Emerin now trusts Mary Sue completely, so that's 2 people on the list of people utterly doomed.
Oh. Thank you.
At least Frederick's finally getting some admiration.
Indeed.
I love this line. They occasionally express something akin to gratitude.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, and they have archers, so your Pegasus brigades might want to stay away from them.
Yes.
Good.
Yep, so there's going to be a big council, of course. However, we're not going to get that just yet. Well, I mean, not just yet. We're actually not going to get that at all. Because Crom, Frederick, and Emerin are now off in council. While that's happening, we have unlocked support conversations, something entirely different. We now have much more to do on the world map menu. Also, we can press the R button to survey the world map, although we can't really pan the map very far, considering that we haven't actually seen very much of it. We can also go back here, but there's nothing for us to do there. If you look on the bottom screen, you'll see that we have 5,000 gold. That is also useless at this point, but if we go into the menu, we only have 2 options here, save our progress or support, which allows us to build up unit relationships. This is what those hearts were during battles. Every time characters gain a heart, they gain points towards their next support conversation, which you can view in here. Now, firstly, I'm going to go with Frederick here and view this one. If you click on a character, you'll see their full list of characters they can support, including a whole bunch of spoilers down there, so let's not look at that. And you'll notice that they have S-rank supports available with characters of the opposite gender. That is going to be very, very important later, but I'm not going to talk about that just yet. But remember how I said that I liked having Frederick and Virion paired up in the last chapter? That's because they actually have support conversations with each other. And we've just unlocked one. I didn't even get these in my first playthrough, so let's go ahead and see.
Right.
Too bad he can't use it, given that he's an archer.
Do tell. Really?
Frederick has other priorities here.
Forgive me. Ah, yes.
Oh, of course he did. Of course he did. Yeah, sure. Friendship.
Explain. Oh,
Well, that is kind of true. Some supports take longer to form in this game than others. Wow. Yeah, just something to point out. This game does have a lot more suggestive dialogue than your average Fire Emblem game. Just saying. Frederick doesn't approve.
wait. Ah,
Okay. Yes, Virion just got subtly owned.
Right.
But then again, yeah, perhaps his philandering does have its advantages. He seems to hold quite a bit of political power with all of his connections. And they have attained a C-rank support. With that, their chances of dual striking and dual guarding when supporting each other in battle are increased, and they'll gain even more stat bonuses when paired up. Let's just say that these stat bonuses get very, very high later on once supports get higher. Supports in this game are far more important than they are in any other game in the series, so be sure to spend some time building them up. This is one game where the power of friendship translates to the power to destroy everything. Now you'll also notice that Crom and Mary Sue have a support. Now Mary Sue is interesting though in terms of supports because she can support any character in the game. This goes true for both avatars. Both avatars can support with anyone. And they can marry anyone of the opposite gender, so Mary Sue here could marry Frederick or Virion, provided that she gains enough support points with them. However, Crom and the case of anyone he can S support with is a very, very special case, and I need to take some time here briefly to explain this. Even though Crom and Mary Sue have unlocked a C support by this point, be very, very, very careful when initiating supports between Crom and any of his potential love interests. I cannot stress this enough. You need to be very careful here, because Crom is a very special case when it comes to marriage. At a certain point in the game, Crom is forced to marry someone if he is not married by that point. If he isn't, he will automatically marry whoever he has the highest support rank with. And if you're not careful, this could be someone that you might not want. Because of this, it is safe to generally do this. If you do not plan on marrying Crom and one of his love interests, it's best to be safe than sorry, and do not initiate any support between them at all. Not even a C rank. The moment that you even initiate a C rank, you run the risk of Crom accidentally marrying them if you don't want him to. And that can be a problem. If Crom doesn't initiate a C rank with one of his love interests, you don't need to worry about him automatically marrying them at all. So, because of this, yeah, very, very careful about initiating support with Crom. Because, again, if you're not careful, you could end up with him marrying someone that you don't want him to. The only reason why I'm stressing this is that I've actually heard from looking on websites that many new players have got Crom married to a female avatar by pure accident when they didn't actually intend to. Now, this is weird because the female avatar actually has the second lowest marriage priority with Crom, meaning that it's actually very difficult to pair them unless you're intentionally trying. I can only imagine these people must have supported them up to A rank as fast as possible, not knowing the implications of that. So, again, if you're not planning on marrying Crom with someone, do not initiate any support whatsoever. I, however, sadly enough, am planning on marrying Crom and Mary Sue, so I'm free to initiate the C support.
Listen.
Now, Crom supports with the avatar this C support. It starts off roughly the same as his C support with the male avatar, but it rapidly becomes very, very different.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we always know because there's a big red indicator on the map where a battle will break out. Well, except for that bear we ate that one time. Oh, yes, yes it is. Actually, Awakening kind of gets easier as it goes on, but anyway. Here's where the conversation kind of deviates from the male version.
Huh?
Huh?
Really? I mean, just look at her. She probably does care about beauty. Uh-oh, that was a bad idea.
Forgive me.
Crom is the master of things coming out all wrong, as you'll see in his support conversations in general. Yeah, thankfully you can't get this conversation before finding out he's a son of a noble family, otherwise you get another, plot hole incident.
Yes.
Huh?
Right. What?
And yes, that's the C support. So, yeah, people have a lot of varied opinions on this whole romance line. I'm not exactly a big fan of it, but I'll explain really that later. But anyway, we don't have access to inventory at all. Although, one thing I want to mention, speaking of plot holes in support conversations, if you manage to get Lissa and Crom to a C support, they actually mention something in their C support that they shouldn't really know about yet. I'll talk about that once we get to the next chapter, because that's where we're headed. But before we go in, probably best to save our progress so we don't lose those support conversations. Okay, so let's go ahead and save. And begin the next chapter. Chapter 2, Shepherds. Again, the title was totally different in the Japanese version, which I'll be explaining pretty much now. And with this, we get our first glimpse of, according to Mary Sue, the most evil person in all existence. But only Mary Sue thinks that. And we have someone new here. Meanwhile, Mary Sue glares at her arch-enemy, while her arch-enemy wonders what the heck is going on.
Huh? What?
Actually, she can't really. Yeah, apparently Felissa risking getting her face chopped off with an axe is, kind of, yes, complete leisure compared to the Bugs and Bear barbecue.
Hey!
And then we have this guy. He is pretty cool. He's kind of Crom's sort of Bash Brother type character. In fact, his personality is pretty much actually very similar to Ryan from Xenoblade Chronicles, especially some of the lines he says.
Oh, please.
And here she is, the one who, according to Mary Sue, is the face of evil.
You won't believe this.
So, yes, here's the reason why, unfortunately, this poor girl is so unfairly hated by a lot of rabid fangirls.
Well,
Huh?
Oh yeah, sure, that's the reason why you're worried.
ta-da!
The one who is about to murder Sumia. And once again, going on about how amazing Mary Sue is. Congratulations, you've officially found the one thing Mary Sue isn't perfect at.
What?
So Maribel is very much the proper lady kind of type. But she's going to exit stage left. We're not going to see her for quite a while, actually. Mary Sue warms to people very quickly. Unfortunately, in this case, it's the burning passion of hatred. Yeah, like I was saying, Mary Sue burns with hatred too quickly. Well, finally he's back.
Captain,
Mary Sue had nothing to do with that. She had nothing to do with that. She totally had nothing to do with that. Yeah, she totally suspect. Yeah, I suspect Mary Sue definitely did have something to do with that, but anyway.
Hey.
Mary Sue's thinking, damn it, that fall didn't kill her.
huh?
And once again, we have amnesia-related exposition.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a nice place for a holiday. But we're going to need some more warriors on our side. I mean, then again, we're going to be recruiting some pretty strong warriors ourselves in this chapter, so... yeah, that might be a problem.
Right.
Yeah, well, we better be really thankful that Lisa volunteers, because if she didn't, we wouldn't even have a healer for this chapter. But it looks like we're getting someone new for this mission. Wait, what? Wait, since when were you here? Yeah, apparently he's been here the whole time. Get used to this. This is sort of his real character trait.
Captain,
Unfortunately, well, at least for me, Sumiya's not going to join just yet. Stop listening to Mary Sue. You're awesome.
Well,
Well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, like, leveling up, pretty much.
huh?
Yes, just stay by Crom, and that would be just perfect. Unfortunately, Mary Sue's out to prevent that from ever happening.
Oh, thank you.
are you ready? Wait for me.
Yes, even more new party members. Oh, I'm going to be really busy with those stat sheets this time. But anyone familiar with Fire Emblem archetypes will know that when a knight in red armor joined in the past chapter, a knight in green armor wouldn't be far behind.
What?
No.
And by the way, this line is also the title of a song.
Hey. Come on.
Well, we've already got quite the interesting band of characters here. Another new party member? Yeah! Like I said, I'm going to be very busy with stat sheets this chapter. But, finally, here we are, in an actual battle.
Huh?
Yeah, now here's the interesting part.
Right.
So technically speaking, the council only called them Risen just a few moments ago. But if you got Crom and Lissa's C support conversation during the first chapter, they would actually refer to Risen in their support, despite the fact that they hadn't officially been named that yet. Interestingly enough, the European version actually picked up on this plot hole and changed the references to Risen in the first support to references to bandits. So I kind of like that. That's a nice touch. Yeah, this is the first chapter where things start getting kind of tricky.
Enter the Vake.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Well, we're gonna have to protect Vake for a bit then. I love that line. And I've already explained this. So yes, lances beat swords, swords beat axes, axes beat lances. This is the first time we will really be dealing with enemies that use multiple weapon types though, so we've got to bear that in mind now. And I'm going to go ahead and make a casual mode save here, just because I don't want to have to go through all those cutscenes again. So, time to begin Chapter 2 proper. Now, this is the first chapter in the game that can actually kind of screw you over if you're not careful, especially on hard mode. There are a lot more enemies here, and they're a lot tougher than what we're used to. They all have iron weapons now, which are the next rank up in the, weapon ranks. They do a lot more damage, and are generally a lot more reliable than bronze weapons, I mean. Anyway, we also have a good variety of enemy weapon users. We have lance-using soldiers, axe-using barbarians, and sword-using mercenaries. We also have these two enemies across the bridge. You want to lock in their ranges because you don't want to provoke those two before you're ready for them. We do have a lot of terrain to take advantage of here, including mountains, which provide quite a bit of a boost, but are relatively tricky to move through. These enemies on the other side of the river, we'll deal with them when we get to them. But we've also got a few new characters. So we have Stahl. As Sully is the Red Knight of this game, Stahl is the Green Knight, and as you can see, he specializes more in swords than in lances. For more about him, check the annotation. And technically, we have the Vake, but the Vake does not have a weapon at this point, so I'm going to save giving him a bio until he does. But anyway, first things first though, well, let's just check the field here. These two enemies have lances, and this one has a sword, so sending a lance user over here is probably the best option, because if he sent an axe user, he'd have problems with the sword there. An axe user is best used on this side, where there's a lance user and another axe user there. Because of that, I'm going to send Sully over, but first let's have Stahl pair up with her. Now, these two are the first couple I intend to make in the game. Because of that, I'm pretty much going to keep them permanently paired up until they get NES support, basically. So, enjoy seeing them together, because you'll be seeing them together a lot. Gotta go into the forest here. And let's do this.
You can do it. Watch it.
Very, very nice there. And Sully's got a D rank. Very nice there. And what is it with Stahl and Sully and dual guarding? I know their defense is good, but still, that was a 4% chance. So, a dual guard makes the support character jump in front of an oncoming blow and block damage from it entirely. Yes, this even works for Pegasus Knights jumping in front of arrows, which is always hilarious to watch. But dual guards are incredibly useful. Early on in the game, though, they're very unreliable. They only get higher chances when you start having either really high defense, because it's calculated based on your defense stats, or really, really high support ranks. Anyway, this bandit could be an issue for Sully with his axe. Because of that, it's time for Crom and Mary Sue to do their work.
My strength is yours. Have another.
Yes.
You'll see their C-rank support has put in work there. They now have a 40% chance of dual striking instead of 30%, so yeah, supports are very, very useful. Again, do not want to provoke those two, because I kind of had a bit of a fail earlier on with that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they can only get attacked by one person at most at the moment, which is good. Speaking of which, let's lock in all enemy ranges, and... You know what? I have an idea. Although it will probably cause them to draw some attention, but let me just see something. Vake is going to go over this way. He's not going to pair up with anyone just yet, but I'm going to leave him here because that'll be a pretty useful place for him to be. Now, you might notice Virion can't reach anyone from his position. Or can he? And he doesn't do enough damage to kill this. Ah, that's not worth it. Oh well. Might as well move him ahead, but gonna have Frederick there and just gonna unequip his weapon for the moment. Lissa she'll stay around where healing is needed, but not in range of any enemies. Okay, hopefully this should be the only person who attacks these two. I'm a bit annoyed at the enemies attacking Mary Sue all the time, because due to Veteran, she's gaining an enormous amount of experience.
Now that's strategy.
Yeah, she levels up very, very quickly. And I kind of want Stahl and Sully to get some experience, because Sully didn't really get some in the last chapter. Come on, Stahl, you can dual strike more than that.
I've got you.
Really, Stahl? Oh boy, those guys are moving up ahead. And we have someone newer still. Before we give her profile, yes, Muriel has indeed found Vake's axe. And she loves to speak in long words. So this is our tutorial to trading items. Muriel has found Vake's axe lying around. Of course, she can't use axes, so she has to give it to him. But first, let's check out Muriel. Muriel is our first primary mage besides the Avatar. If you want to find out more about Muriel, click on the annotation. The problem with Muriel at the moment is she starts out at level 1 compared to everyone else, so I'm going to make sure she takes cover as soon as possible. First though, let's give Vake his axe back. And then, let's have Muriel pair up with him just to get some cover.
What?
And the moment that you trade Vake back his axe, this conversation occurs. Now, I've got a pretty hilarious video up that shows what happens if you do something a little weird. It's actually possible for Vake to die, and then still get this conversation.
Thanks.
Beware.
Ouch. Anyway, now that Vake actually has a weapon... To find out more about the Vake, click on the annotation. At this point, though, I think Vake should focus on... Oh, great. That's annoying. There are a lot of enemies around here, which is going to be kind of tricky. Viren can take that guy down.
I have your back.
Now, as much as you'd probably think it would be weird to leave an archer exposed, he gains a pretty big defense bonus from Frederick, to the point where he actually has more defense than most other people in our army, so I'm kind of fine with that. And I'd actually prefer that the enemies go after him. Meanwhile, over here, gotta be a little careful of Stahl and Sully. But I think they should be fine if maybe they run for a fort. That axe guy is still worrying me, though. I'll need to take him out some... Well, I don't know, because, I mean, we have this guy running behind our lines who's a little annoying, and, I could kill him relatively easily like that, though. Okay, come on. Let's do our thing and make sure Crom doesn't get damaged by this guy, because otherwise we're in trouble.
Come on.
Nice shot, Mary Sue.
Thank you.
As much as I hate to admit it. Okay, good. That guy's down. That's useful, because it means that Liz is a bit more protected. Now, the thing about Vake is, his defense growth is not that bad, but his base defense is kind of problematic. So, because of that, I'm gonna have to be careful there. And Lissa is in a bit of a worrying position. Let's see what happens if I move Starl and Sully to the fort here. And these two are gonna try and take this guy on. Either that, or go to the woods. Although that'll mean that these guys all start attacking Crom. Or Virion, I'm not entirely sure. I think Lissa can get into a relatively safe position, though. As much as I would like to attack this guy right now, I am a little concerned about them being far away from the rest of the action. So, I guess I'll move them to the... That is a woods, right? There we go. Okay, they are going after Crom.
Ready? My turn.
I owe you.
Really? 2 experience points left. Okay, that's exactly what I hoped for.
Formulate a plan.
No dual strike, though. That's annoying.
Divide and conquer.
Vega's gonna need healing soon, but this looks like it could be fairly manageable. And they get healed. So Lissa is going to... she can't really get to anyone and heal them at this point. Okay, you're only level 2, so you definitely need to get some experience here. And this is annoying because those guys aren't exactly going to provide all that much experience. And Virion would basically just one-shot them. Come on, Dual Strike!
Careful now.
Really? Did I waste all my luck on that dual guard or something? Ugh, really? That is very irritating. Because the Vake can take this guy down.
Apply yourself.
Actually, I should have done with Muriel, I just realized, because she has much lower experience, but oh well. At least Vake gets to do something here. And then this last guy, I will finish him with Virion.
Fancy that.
So that's the initial rush of enemies down. And now Crom needs some healing. And a good thing too, because Lissa hasn't leveled up yet, which is annoying. And wow, she actually gained strength and didn't gain magic. That is a very bizarre level up. So the enemies aren't actually moving now, and here we have a bit of an awkward tutorial.
Lord.
This is really annoying. I really don't like this
Right.
mechanic.
Well,
Yeah, this is explaining the auto-action mechanics. The sort of order system. Yes, it's almost never the best course of action. Yeah, there is an auto-battle function. If you go into options, this lets you choose your own auto-battle tactics. And... is there any other options? Because I never even use the auto-battle anyway. Oh yeah, there's auto. X button lets you set tactics. Okay, there we go. Guard, actively protect Crom, blitz, attack the nearest enemy, stay near Crom but out of enemy range, and custom for each unit. I never use these features in any of the Fire Emblem games because they're more than likely to result in death most of the time. Let's go ahead and heal Sully, though.
Very kind of you.
And I would really like to get that event tile with them, but there's one that's a bit further up that's probably better. Gotta be careful of some enemies here. Actually, Star might be better for this one. Let's just see. Don't want to rush these enemies before we're ready. It's usually best to bottleneck this bridge with some ranged attackers in the rear. So I'm going to switch to Starl here. He does have better defense and a sword equipped. And the Vake's going to go here, mainly due to Muriel. Frederick and Virion are going to go there. And Crom... Yeah, I do kind of want to get him a bit more experience. Okay, this is exactly why I had the sword user in the front. That guy's got a 7% critical rate. That's very scary. I should have checked his skills. Oh, missed dual strike. Seeing as there was a weapon triangle disadvantage, I'm not at all surprised, but yeah. Now, thankfully, none of these guys have any ranged weapons. Well, that guy's got a mercenary skill, though. Patience. Hit and avoid plus 10 when under attack. That might be tricky. Okay, only one of them has gamble, thankfully. Other than the boss, but bosses usually have fixed skills. Now, let's see... Oh, Muriel is not enough to do it. That's annoying. Unless I... Okay, let's see... Because I really need to heal Vake, and that's the annoying thing. Let's just snipe this guy a little bit.
I have your back.
Level up, always handy. Really? Ah! Yeah, you have to deal with terrible level ups sometimes. Some players reset if they get level ups that bad, but I mean, everyone has pretty good growth rates in this game, so usually it evens out. And we've got a lot of Lance users incoming, so I actually think that I should switch over to Sully here. Now, I've still got a... Wait, I had a 94% chance of hitting this guy, and I still missed? Well, that's very annoying. Actually, extra experience from Melissa isn't as important as killing this guy, because he poses a big threat to Sully.
Don't you give up.
Muriel's magic is kind of weak at the start of the game, but she'll get better as things progress. Yeah, now I can switch partners, take this guy out.
Come on.
This chapter's sort of an introduction to bottlenecking and meat shielding, both effective tactics in this game. That was a pretty good level up, actually. And let's see. I have an idea. No, I don't want to take Vake. I want to take Muriel. Well, that's annoying. Oh well, at least I can get a bit of healing.
Remarkable.
Yes, that was only 1 HP, but you want to heal often if you want your healers to gain a lot of experience and eventually become decent combat units. Kind of want to go here now. Although Crom would have been useful here for his charm skill.
I got you.
And now I've got an 100% chance of hitting. That +1 skill really made all the difference, didn't it?
Damn nuisance.
Now, you do have to be a bit careful when bottlenecking, because sometimes if you kill too many enemies, you might be in a bit of danger. Nice dodge there. No dual strike, that's annoying.
I got you.
Yeah, this guy still has pretty decent accuracy, because sword users generally have, finally, high skill. But there's an incoming axe user, so let's see how they're each going. Sully's got a lot more experience at the moment. I reckon Muriel could actually take that guy out, though.
Ready to shine?
There we go. And we're introduced to a new mechanic here.
Right.
So, any item that is listed in green on an enemy, like this guy's Iron Lance, is a droppable item. That means that when you kill the enemy, they'll drop that item and you'll be able to use it. So, we got an Iron Sword off of that guy, and I think Star will want to take that, actually. Except he's still at an E in swords. That's kind of annoying. Let's just see if we can... Okay, we won't kill that guy just yet. Let's just grab the event tile. Really? Yet another support bonus? I was kind of hoping for a weapon there. They're already at a C rank. I'd much rather the other characters get support bonuses, but oh well. Huh. Don't want to move these guys at the moment, but... Yeah, 5 damage, and then... Although they'll only get attacked by 2 enemies at most. Sometimes it's best not to attack units during your turn while you're bottlenecking, because if you kill too many, you might end up getting attacked by more enemies than you can handle, and thus dying horribly. May as well trade for that iron sword, even though we can't actually use it yet. And anyone... Well, people do need healing, but... But not just yet. Let's continue bottlenecking.
Go, go!
Okay, yeah, this was a situation where it was a good thing that I didn't dual strike, because if we did, that guy would have died, and then I would have been attacked by more enemies than I could handle. Ow, Stahl's hurting quite badly. Again, another moment where I'm thankful for no dual strike. Okay, these people... Okay, here's the thing. Can I... I'm not sure it's fully safe to, but... Then again, yep, Stahl has finally got to a D rank in swords, which means... Out with the bronze sword, in with the iron, finally. And okay, I think I know how to do this. Let's kill this guy, because Stahl needs more experience.
Yep, that'll do.
Let's move you there and fireball this guy.
Don't you give up.
And we get an Iron Lance that should go to Sully. And then Lissa can heal these two without being in danger.
Very nice.
As you can see, Lissa's getting a lot more work from this point on. And we only have one enemy left besides the boss. Let's just shoot him with Virion for a bit.
Shall we?
And with that, I can move these guys back here. And we're almost ready for the boss.
Go for it.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's boss time. Here's the other one left. Once again, we have yet another barbarian with a hand axe. His stats are just slightly higher. He does have that very annoying gamble skill, though. I've had so many times back in Fire Emblem 6 where I've got down to the boss being the last enemy left on the map, and then he criticals me with a 2%. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. Hey, Sully does stuff besides beating people up. So, their relationship has improved, which is good because I'm hoping to get those two married. They need healing once again, though. But that means more experience for Lissa, which is all good. Generally, everyone is around level 3 to 4 at this point, which is usually pretty good. I could actually go ahead and attack this guy right now. That 7% chance for critical is worrying, though. I mean, I'll survive, though, because it'll only do 12 damage, but still. Might as well do it just to soften the boss up a bit. I mean, we've exhausted the event tiles in this map anyway. I also just noticed that Virion comes with an elixir, but I'll explain that a bit later. The elixir is a healing item that will restore all your HP. It's best not to use it this early in the game unless you're really desperate, or unless you're on lunatic mode, in which case you might need it, but Frederick's usually the main recipient of it, since he has by far the most HP out of anyone here. Let's see. Yeah, Stahl needs experience much more desperately than Sully does. And Vake does desperately need healing, so I'll probably want to switch to him. The general goal here is to get everyone to at least level 3 or 4, and strength again? Wow! I was saying Lisa had terrible strength, but I guess I was wrong, or at least she's trying to prove me wrong. I would quite like to get the kill on the boss with Muriel if at all possible. Actually though, first, let's trade that lance over to Sully. Trade that, then switch so that I can heal Vake. And then, let's see. Yeah, I actually do quite a lot of damage to this guy. I mean, his defense is very low though. I'll actually move these ones back a little bit. Because how much damage does he do in return? 6 times 3 with that 9% chance is 18, which is not enough for a kill, so might as well wait there.
I'm right here.
Okay, that gets enough for a level up. Well, at least he got defense. That's sort of his main stat. I hope I don't suffer from the Red Knight, Green Knight curse, or the Cain and Abel curse as I call it in this game. Just an explanation. In pretty much every playthrough I've ever done where I train both the Red and Green Knights of a game, one of them ends up horribly RNG screwed to the point where they're completely outclassed by the other in every possible way. I really hope that doesn't happen here.
Thanks.
Yes, this happened back in Fire Emblem 4 on this YouTube channel. Back with Noish and Alec. Alec ended up outclassing Noish in strength and defense, making Noish totally useless. Crom is going to level up anyway pretty soon. Virion is already level 4. Mary Sue is level 5 and nearly level 6. Starl and Sully are around there. The one who really needs the experience the most is Muriel, but that'll be a kill I should hit.
Teach us right here.
There we go. And there we go! Finally, the heroes are someone other than Crom and... you know, I instinctively almost said Crom and Sumia? Yeah, they got heroes quite a lot in my first playthrough. Anyway, though... finally, the zombies are gone. But we definitely have a zombie infestation on our hands.
Ah.
And with that, we're taken back to the save screen. I'm actually going to call it here because a cutscene will start immediately after we load the game the next time. So that's enough for this episode. And yeah, we've got a lot of new party members, so we'll see you next time for more Fire Emblem Awakening.